game last night that I know you want to talk about. Obviously, the Miami Heat defeating the Cleveland Cavaliers, as you see on the screen, 107-104. And I got to say this about this game. So I know you were at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse working the game, but there was a moment, it was about 18 seconds left. The Cavs were down by three. And I don't want to, take a shot here at Bally Sports necessarily because the game was on CW 43 last night, local cable here in Cleveland. And Brad Doherty, who does a great job with the color commentary of the games, and I would say that. But right before this, Brad Doherty flat out said that he thought, in my opinion, the worst head coach in the history of Cleveland Cavaliers basketball, JB Bickerstaff, should be the coach of the year. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers proceed to take what felt like 15 seconds off the clock, down by three. And instead of shooting a three, George Niang basically takes a layup, and you go from a chance to tie the game to pretty much losing the game. Another terrible coaching decision by the worst head coach in Cleveland Cavaliers basketball history, J.B. Bickerstaff, and a Cleveland Cavaliers team that has no essential awareness. And signing Marcus Morris Sr., while will bring toughness to the team, it will not change the fact that if they do play Hemi Butler and run one of the playoffs, the Cavaliers will be going home in approximately 5 or 6 games. Mr. Unger, you have the floor.
So, there's a reason I wanted to include this game in this tonight's show, and that's because of this. I have no interest in playing the Miami Heat in round one or at any point of the NBA playoffs this season. Because it's around this time of year where the Miami Heat start to round into form. Jimmy Butler, I don't know what happens, but he transforms into playoff Jimmy, and he just makes all the big shots. He becomes a cold-blooded killer, and Heat culture just takes over. Both teams came into last night's game banged up. Cavs were without Donovan Mitchell, no Dean Wade, no Max Strus. Miami was without Bam Adebayo, no Duncan Robinson, no Tyler Hero, no Kevin Love, and Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier, who always seems to have a big game against his hometown Cavaliers, just made the big plays when they needed to. And Eric Spoelstra, I don't get it. Dude just keeps pushing all the right buttons, and Miami won. As a Cavs fan, I don't want to play the Miami Heat in the first round of the playoffs. No, thank you. Jimmy, if I saw Miami across from us, I'd be scared out of my mind. I really would. I don't want to.
Well, to be fair, the Cavs did not have Mitchell last night, or Strus, or Mobley. Now, Miami didn't have Bam Adebayo either, which I think Jared Allen, I think he's slowly becoming the second best player on the Cavs. I think he's grown up a little bit this year. That gives me a little bit more hope for the postseason. But at the same time, like I said, Marcus Morris is a nice piece, but he's not going to be much when it comes to playoff time. I think the Cavs are soft. As I told you, I think they can win a round. I think they can beat Indiana. I think they could beat Orlando. But if they got to play Miami, if they got to play the Knicks, if they got to play Philly, with a healthy Joel Embiid, because that's the key there, because if Philly it doesn't have Embiid, the Cavs will beat them. But a healthy Embiid Philly, Miami, or the Knicks, the Cavs will lose, and the Cavs are going to stay the same because the Cavs are going to be in this mediocre territory for the next 5 years where they're going to be a number 4 seed and never get over the hump.
Well, that depends on if Donovan Mitchell re-signs with us.
Yeah, which is very true, and I'm telling you, we just talked about it when it comes to being a general manager. We talked about it with the Justin Fields situation to kick off tonight's show. I am very aggressive when it comes to the way I build my teams. If I'm the Cavs, I think depending on if you go out in the first round this year and depending on how that route goes, you have to explore trading one of Mitchell or Garland. I would rather trade Garland. I would not trade Mobley because I think Mobley and Allen are one hell of a tandem down low, and I think Mobley's only going to get better, and I think Jared Allen has gotten better. But in my opinion, This Cavs team is probably going to need a complete reset. It's making it very hard to watch these games towards the end of the regular season because unless we're both wrong, you sort of know what's coming.
Right. Um, and the one frustrating thing for me last night was why was JP Bickerstaff so heavily reliant on the starters? Like, there's a reason you have reserves that come off the bench. I get it. Like, we were without Donovan Mitchell, no Dean Wade, no Evan Mobley, no Max Strus.
You
So
just
you're
answered
down.
your question.
Fair point. But, like, you have Tristan Thompson who can come off the bench. You have Marcus Morris, who you mentioned.
Yeah, but they're not playing 15, 20 minutes off the bench. They may give you like 10 minutes at this point in their career.
Right, but at this late in the season, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, when everybody is healthy, should not be playing 40-plus minutes a game.
No, but they're not healthy, and I agree with you there. And for some reason, as we talked about, when they are healthy, Sam Merrill never gets any playing time, and neither does Porter. And both those kids can play. But last night, they needed all 40 minutes from Garland. They needed all 40 minutes from Jared Allen just to even keep that game close.
You're not wrong, but seriously, as a Cavs fan, I don't want to see Miami in the first round of the playoffs. As of right now, if the playoffs started today, I know they don't, but if they did, we'd be playing the Pacers. I'd be all right with that.
I would be too, because I think that they're a year away like the Cavs were last year. Now, a little bit off topic, but this was a topic that we were going to talk about. But Giannis Antetokounmpo sat out last night's game against Boston.
Yes, you weren't gonna bring this up. I was, because I'm not letting you off the hook for that.
Shots. You gotta listen to me. You gotta listen to me for 1 second.
I'm not letting you off the hook for this.
Listen.
No way.
So the Milwaukee Bucks right now are fighting basically between the number 2 and the number 3 seed. They don't care who they play in the first round. All they care about is getting to Boston and avoiding them in round 2. They'd rather play them in the conference finals. They don't care about home court advantage between them and Cleveland. They feel like they could beat us in the 7-game series if they had to start on the road or what. That's not what they care about. They have veteran players, and plus, they don't want to show Boston everything they got before a potential playoff series, and they're going to feel even more confident now, in my opinion, because Damian Lillard went in there and almost beat the Celtics by themselves. They had to come back down 20 points. Bobby Portis had a great fourth quarter in that game as well. So that's an encouraging sign for me in Milwaukee, and a discouraging sign if you're a Celtics fan, because I think Boston is just cruising through this regular season, and if they're not careful, I think Milwaukee can beat them personally.
I can see that, but yeah, I'm not letting you off the hook for this. No way.
So you're not letting me off the hook for what? I don't understand what I did wrong. You're going to have to articulate here.
Fine. Giannis should have played last night. Unless he was truly, you want to prove you're the best, go out there and against Jason Tatum, against Jaylen Brown, on Boston's home court, and prove you are the best.
It's March. It's March. I don't have to prove anything. And by the way, we already know Jokic is the best player in the world, so.
Okay, but prove that the gap between yourself and the Celtics is not as large as it appears in the standings. They don't need
to prove anything. I think they proved it more by almost beating them without Giannis last night.
No.
What do you mean, though? They only lost by 3 without their best player.
Did you actually believe Milwaukee was going to win that game now?
Well, yeah, late in the game, I thought there was a chance. Did you think the Cavs were going to beat the Heat without 4 of their best guys? They had a chance.
I still believed Miami was going to win that game.
Oh, so you thought the whole way through that you had no thought the Cavs were going to win that game?
I would have loved it if the Cavs could win, but my honest opinion was Jimmy Butler is just that dude.
So with 5 minutes ago, when the Cavs were up 4 or 5 points, you didn't say, wow, we have a real chance to win this game.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
I just asked you a simple question. So once again, I win the argument. I have caught you in 3 different traps tonight.
No, you haven't.
Yes,
that is not true.
I just won the argument.
No, you didn't. I don't know how you're making things up again, dude.
I'm not making things up at all. All I said was a simple question. Did you at any point in the game think the Cavs could beat Miami? And you pretty much just said yes.
I never said they didn't have a chance.
You did.
I never said
Go
that.
back and watch the
No,
tape.
I didn't.
You said I didn't think the Cavs were going to beat Miami.
That doesn't. When I say that, that doesn't mean they don't have a chance.
I don't think they're going to beat them. Doesn't mean they have a chance. It's the same thing. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It is not.
Well, Corey, you don't know the definition of the English language because 2 things can mean the same thing.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. So what you said is the same thing I said. This show is going off the rails tonight.
I want to bang my head against the wall sometimes working with you.
Well, people say I remind them of Skip Bayless. Here I am.